He's probably like legit my cousin. Welcome to the War Scouts Basketball Podcast with Mike and Name. I'm one of your hosts, Name Cardinal. As usual, I'm here with my broski, Michael Swampy, aka 2012 Onion Lake Turney MVP himself. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's awesome being here with the Treaty 8 Cree legend named Cardinal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's
honor is all mine.
He's Treaty 8 in the streets, but Treaty 6 in the sheets. Whoa, hey, come on now.
Hey.
We're not
family show,
Mike.
Family show. How you been, man? We're back.
We're back. Yeah. I've been good. All is well on my end. I think I last left off. I was starting a new job position. I'm helping teachers now in the education world, and it's been awesome. Learning a lot about our own Indigenous culture and sharing that wealth of knowledge with some non-Indigenous folk and Indigenous alike. So it's been good.
That's awesome. Good for you. I'm happy to hear you doing that job, and you get to do that really close to home, and it's so comfortable and like relaxing to not have to commute after work or even before work and stuff. That's all that little bit of extra time with your family really matters.
Yeah, that way. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. And I no longer have to drive the QE anymore, heading down to Musquecheese. I don't have to see blackface Trudeau anymore on the highway there.
That's a rough
rebel news. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a rough bulletin board. Holy man. Yeah. And what else you got going on? Like doing any hooping, anything like that?
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of took a little bit of a hiatus break. Just we're both getting old, and we've discussed this quite often on the podcast that age does play a part in your playing ability. But no, I just took a break, and I'm only a sub for men's league basketball. But you know what? I'm a full-time co-ed basketball player right now. So yeah, I'm like Connor McDavid out there, just yelling at the boys and girls alike.
Yeah.
Nope, but it's been good.
The end.
Yeah.
You want this Edmonton Sports Social Club Championship or not?
Yes, SE for life.
Yeah, that's right. But that's legit a fun league. Like I had a lot of really good times playing in that basketball league. It's like it's competitive, but it's still like there's like no pressure. It's like everyone's pretty much everyone's there is for fun and the spirit points and all that. But it's a good time.
It's a really relaxed league. Like it's hockey subs. So as soon as you feel any ounce of tiredness, you just immediately sub. Unless you're like me, who just grinds it out for the full 40 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do that.
Yeah, not taking any subs, just waving everyone off. Get back.
Just complaining about being old and injured, and still logging in the Iron Man minutes on the co-ed basketball.
Yeah. That's deadly. Well, I'm glad to hear you're still playing. I am not playing at all. Just too busy these days to play, and can't really find time to fit it in my schedule right now. So
all good.
Hooping for me.
Well, that's all good. In a couple months, you're gonna be doctor name, so it's gonna be all worth it.
Couple months, a few years. Yeah.
What is it? Hey, that's only 24 months. Come on now.
It's 3 years.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's 3 years. Yeah, so it's a while yet. Yeah. It's a grind though. So yeah, a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work, and you're doing. So for those who don't know, Names obviously getting his PhD and All while he's also trying to learn one of the most difficult languages in the world, the Cree language, Nehiawan.
Yep, that's right. I should have opened up with some Cree. Like this will be a Cree podcast pretty soon. Mike and I are in the same Cree class every Monday through Musqueam education.
Yep.
We're in Mateneheawewen, which is like beginner's Cree.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you guys might hear us talk a little bit of Cree here pretty quick here.
Yeah, you don't get your hopes up for, it's a hard language to learn. Even the classes are really difficult. Like when there was one point where she was going over Chopeganuk, which is our alphabet, and like just going through each word and trying to give us examples. And she was like on like the 12th one, and I was lost after the third one.
Yeah.
Like it's hard.
Yeah, she moves quick. Like
Yeah.
really quick. I was like, where are we right now? And I was like texting Mike. What's going on?
We're just cheating. We're using your dictionary, your Cree dictionary you have.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just super impressed with us.
Yeah.
Miasin.
Miasin, that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did you spend your summer? Like did you get up to any coaching? Did you do any playing basketball? On vacation?
Yeah,
what was going on in the world of Mike?
In the world of Mike, I watched a lot of basketball. I didn't participate in a whole lot. Usually I go down and I coach for the Alberta Indigenous Games, but this year I kind of took a break. I have a little one at home, so focusing a lot of my time on him and just trying to be present a little more. It feels like the last 6 years or so, 7 years, I've just been work, school, and so being able to spend that time in the summer has been awesome. It's been good to spend time with family, and so I've been doing that, and yeah, watching a whole lot of basketball. We had the opportunity to witness, the Olympic basketball showcase that went down in Paris, and it was awesome watching the Dream Team 3.0 here with Steph Curry leading the charge.
Yeah, that was an unreal tournament on the men's side there with Team USA, Serbia, France. Like the top three teams were so good. Like any one of them could have won. Like that semifinal game was probably like the best men's Olympic basketball game ever. Like it's just unreal.
Yeah, big time. And you have all these superstars coming out. You have Jokic competing with Serbia. You have Giannis, who is playing for Greece, and then you have a France team that's loaded with NBA players. And Canada had, who did we have? We had France, and did we have France in our pool? I know we had Australia in our pool, who were really competitive.
I don't think France was in the same pool as Canada. Yeah, because they didn't see them till like the quarterfinal, was it, when they lost to them? Was that who they lost to?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah, because Canada finished first, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there was Greece, Australia, and then there was another team. I just can't think of it right now, but yeah, it was
Spain.
Yeah, they had a tough pool to get through to get to the playoff round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the pool of death.
Yep, the pool of death. Yeah, and Spain still had some of their old guard there with Rudy Fernandez. It was like his 5th Olympics, right?
Yeah. Rudy Fernandez, and just because I'm just thinking about players that are old and competed. Argentina, when they were trying to qualify for the Olympics, they had Carlos Delfino. Do you remember Carlos Delfino?
Wow. Yeah.
And he was like 40 plus, but he looked like he was in such great shape still.
Oh yeah. Those guys they're still hoopers, man. Still hoopers. Yep. Good for them.
Absolutely.
Good for them. Yeah. Yeah.
So
and
sorry. Go on.
Oh, I was just going to ask if you were able to catch any of the women's games, Team Canada women's games.
I did. And yes, if you're listening, I did sound a little disappointed
Yeah.
in Team Canada. They just released their head coach for the Canadian women's. They're looking in a different direction, which is understandable. Like watching those games, we have such great talent for the women's team, but it was just handled like I don't know. Maybe it was the substitutions. That when things are going wrong, he just kind of stuck with the game plan and wasn't malleable in changing anything up really.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was a little disappointing to watch. Like there was literally one, I think it was the second quarter where the Canadian woman only scored 3 points,
Hmm.
and the first quarter they were in the game, they were competing.
Yeah, yeah. I was definitely a little. I guess I had higher expectations for the men and the women's basketball team. Like
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were like both in medal contention. I mean, it just looked like something was missing from the women's team, and I was just like I couldn't like quite figure out what it was. Like it just seemed like they seemed off. Like I've watched them play so many times, and they're just like cohesive unit, like playing so well together. And something was just off about the team. And yeah, and I think like on the men's side, like against France, it kind of got beat up a bit, and I don't know what it was. Like, uh, um, pretty sure people are saying like Murray was injured as well and stuff. So
Oh yeah, that, and I
yeah.
think just the excitement of having a summer break in Paris with all these Olympic athletes, and um, it might have hindered Canada a little bit. Well, I mean, a lot of that also just comes with experience. Like if they
Hmm.
experienced it before, then they wouldn't get caught in the hoopla of everything and be a little more prepared mentally. And I think they just showed up and they're a little too excited and kind of lost focus a bit, especially for the Canadian men at least. And then yeah, Jamal Murray had to be injured for sure because that was not a that was not an impressive showing by Jamal Murray at all. And there was like cases where he would get the ball and he would kind of like tell everybody to clear out, and he would try and take a guy one on one, and it was he would get stopped, and then he would have to force the pass. Like yeah, he didn't do well, and I'm hoping he gets better for the NBA season. We'll see.
Yeah, something I thought that was interesting, and it was kind of I don't know if you saw that Fanatics. I don't know what it was, but they had like some kind of conference, and they had all these like athletes there, and Kevin Durant and Ant were there, and they're being interviewed on the stage about like about their experience over in the Olympics,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, and there was like a lot of discussion around that, and like how like um and I'm pretty sure Ant was like he was being interviewed, and he was saying like if we're down, he's like I usually just go one on one, and he's like playing with these guys like they're patient, they're playing basketball the right way, they're moving the ball, and they're waiting to get the best shot. They're not trying to like take it into their own hands, he said. So
Mm-hmm.
it sounded like it was like a really good learning experience for him.
Oh yeah, big time. Think about how amazing that'd be for your development. They have to play with one of the top two. We're not going to get into it, but the top two greatest players of all time, LeBron James, and then you obviously have a guy that can shoot the lights out, Steph Curry. You have Kevin Durant. Joel Embiid should not have been on the U.S. team. He said that he's going to play for his African nation when the next Olympics come up.
Yeah.
Apparently, we'll see how he feels about that when it actually comes time in 4 years. But you just have a loaded team with such great experience on that team. Yeah, that's huge for Anthony Edwards.
Yeah. It was yeah, I'm sure it was a great learning experience for him. Yeah, you mentioned that you didn't coach this year in the Alberta Indigenous Games. I was in Edmonton for the AIG this summer. Excuse me. Yeah, and I got to experience it for the first time in a long time. And I was just there for the basketball part, and it was huge. And yeah, Musquechies had a lot of teams there.
Oh yeah. Again, shout out Cleve. I think
Cleve.
that's like his 6th shout out for the podcast. He's the
We
guy
gotta
that
shout
always
him out every episode. Find a
we
way.
have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Musquechies has always had a big pool of basketball players. And I think they legit had to host tryouts for this club team to be able to go to AIG. Yeah, it's a cool event. I kind of wish that because it's an Alberta Indigenous Games, it's all encompassing of all sports. But
Mm-hmm.
I wish that there was it was basketball. There was a separate event that was basketball focused. Just in terms of organization, just in terms of working out the kinks and having all the effort and focus on that particular event. And you could do the same thing for something like floor hockey or volleyball and that sort of thing. Something that's separate from AIG, just because I find that, and I'm sure hundreds of people will agree that in the past years it's been somewhat a little disorganized, and that's not Alberta basketball, or that's not on anybody's uh like that's not their fault. It's just in terms of like um I'm trying to say is it needs to be better organized.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I could hear the diplomacy in your voice there.
Yeah.
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 Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that would be really, really awesome. And as a lot of you know, I live out in BC now, and BC has its own tournament. They have a junior all native basketball tournament, and they get tons and tons of teams, and it's hosted by a different nation every year, so it like rotates around. And I mean, in Alberta, it's probably would be a like great idea to host it in like a bigger center, just because of the availability of facilities. But I think that would be a great idea, especially the way that like my experience at AIG anyway is like seeing how much basketball has grown. If that was back in my day, just kidding. If that was like back when I was a kid, like we would struggle to get teams in there. Like
Oh yeah.
it's just exploded. It's just such a like accessible game to play, and you don't need a whole lot of money, like unless you're like playing on a big club team or whatever, but it's like just to play. Like you don't,
Mm-hmm.
you just need a hoop, a ball, shoes, and you're good to go. But yeah, I think that would be a really good idea. So you just committed to getting that started, Mike.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
the War Scouts all junior native basketball tournament. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even just thinking about like the like NABI down in the States, Phoenix. How many teams were in NABI? Like 68 teams or something like that.
Yeah, just on the boys' side. And the girls probably had just about as many.
Yeah.
And that's all
And
high school.
and
Yeah.
to be able to, open it up like that. And a part of me just wants to, and there's another issue with having nation teams and then also having club teams. And so what does that mean?
Mm.
I think ultimately what's going to happen, and like I was being an athletic director for the last however many years, we would often have discussions like school sports is almost losing out to clubs right now. And
Mm.
it's almost, there's going to be a day when the clubs, like school sports, won't exist, and it's just going to be primarily club sports. And the kids who can afford and can play club, they will obviously play. Um, but and I hate to say that moving from a nation to a club team is probably the right path, but it is, I think, the right path, just because you eliminate that discussion of, oh, all those guys aren't part of your nation. Like
Mm.
then there's always those arguments and that sort of thing. And as much as you want to, you know, uh, as much as you want to kind of regulate that or apply rules to it, there's always going to be some sort of discrepancy in the tournament. And um, And I know that in Nabi, it's a nation tournament, but ultimately their nations are all clubs, right?
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know, just some thoughts and opinions without actually going to be doing anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna do anything, but here's what I think. But yeah, it was like it was like when we went to Nabi and you were playing, like we had a club team and we are called Musquechies,
Mm-hmm.
but it was still a club team. But yeah, it's a great point. And there's similar conversations going on right now in hockey about like these hockey academies, like which is kind of the opposite because it's like school. It's like
Mm-hmm.
hockey academies versus minor hockey. And a lot of people that feel like that minor hockey is being greatly um disadvantaged because of the academy system. So
Wow, yeah.
similar, yeah, very similar conversation. But I think you make some good points. I honestly, like, I think, you know, I think you need to be open-minded with a lot of the tournaments, and having club teams is not necessarily a bad thing, and you can have both. I mean, both
Yeah.
can be a great experience. Yeah, so I definitely agree with you there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That way.
but yeah,
I feel like
uh,
if I wrote that as a Facebook status, I would have in capital letters JS FYI.
yeah, yeah, just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying. Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
time.
I got to coach at AIG this year. And it was like the first time I ever coached at Alberta Indigenous Games. I just went to watch before in the past. And I haven't coached in 5 years. Like 2019 was the last time I coached when I left Enoch. Um, I just didn't get involved in coaching here, like COVID hit and all that kind of stuff. And I think I may have talked about that before, but my nephew called me in the early spring, like March or April, and he was like, "We're going to enter a team for the AIGs. Like, would you be interested in coaching?" And I told him I think about it, and I got back to him a couple weeks later, and I told him I would. But I'm so glad I did because it was such a like positive experience. Like I had such a good time with that basketball team. Like the boys, like they were all from like high level Paddle Prairie. We picked up a kid from a Misquachie, Terrace Neum, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was just like all the kids were just like so respectful. They listened well. They're all so coachable. Like it was, yeah, it was a great time. But yeah, I was nervous. Like I could feel like I was rusty my first game.
Yeah.
I just feel like when you're in your timeout and you're in your huddle, and like you gotta like explain within like a minute or whatever to talk about the game plan, your adjustments, all that kind of stuff. I was like the first game, I was running out of time every time I made a timeout, and I was like, oh crap! I was like, I gotta tighten this up. So yeah, just every game, I like the boys like were getting so much better, and I was like trying to like keep up with them because I felt so rusty as a coach because it had been
Hmm.
so long. But it was yeah, it was a great time. Like I was just like a great group of boys, and I feel really lucky that I got to coach them. And it kind of like woke something up in me. But the last game, I was just like felt like competitive, like that competitive fire come back, and you're like, you're trying to get the boys fired up too and stuff. And
Yep.
yeah, it was cool.
Oh, that's awesome. It's good that and that's what basketball does. It reinvigorates your spirit, I find, and you just it brings floods back memories and of playing days and other coaching days. Like your days of center high were probably coming back to you
Yeah,
when we were coaching out there. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that's so
yeah,
cool.
yeah. My perspectives on coaching since those days have definitely changed for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I'm so like I'm trying to like preach. Like I was just trying to like preach, just trying to talk more like talk more about the little things, like the
Mm-hmm.
details of the
Yep.
game. And like from your experience, like details do matter. And
Yeah.
like when you arrive to the game, when you start your warm up, like, you come out, you're dressed, you're ready to go. Like those things all matter. Like they count towards the game, and like whether you're going to win or lose. And yeah, just trying to focus a lot more on those things, and trying to like learn a lot from a lot of the mistakes I made when I was early on in my coaching days.
Yeah, that's so huge. Like when because it teaches the kids just healthy habits, especially if they go out and they're playing for high school ball or they go out and play university, developing those healthy habits where they know that they should arrive, probably an hour before the game just to get a warm up in and make sure they're eating healthy before the game. Like I've had so many conversations with kids about them just showing up after eating a Dave's double cheeseburger from Wendy's. Like like you can't be doing that, man. You're gonna have a knot in your stomach. Yeah, and but those are so important. Yeah, absolutely. So in those timeouts, did you just focus on drawing up a play, or?
Yeah, and some of them I did, and some of them I was like, I was just focusing on positioning. There's a couple of boys on the team that never played basketball before. Like they went for volleyball, and they just kind of like got recruited to the basketball team. But they're like all the boys were like such good athletes. Like from the time we started the tournament till the end of it, like because they're like just such respectful kids who listen and were coachable, like their game just like shot up. Like, and there was one of the boys who was there just for volleyball. Like he played a lot in our last game because he was just he was working hard. He was grabbing rebounds. He was diving on the floor for loose balls, all that kind of stuff. And it was tricky because like I didn't know any of the boys except my nephew.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't even seen my nephew play before. He lives up in high level, and we played pickup once over the summer. And so you're trying to evaluate the players and coach them at the same time. So it was, there was just a lot going on, but it was great. It was fun. Woke that coaching bug up in me and stuff. And yeah, I really appreciate them asking me and trusting me to be part of that basketball team.
Yeah, that's huge. When I'm just thinking about back to when I was coaching, a lot of times because a timeout would be called, and if we called the timeout, it's often because there's a lot of emotion on the floor. And so one of the ways that I would tell the kids is I would immediately go right into drawing up a sideline out of bounds or a baseline out of bounds play, and have them immediately shifting their thinking to what they can do on the basketball floor, and not focusing their attention on the ref making a bad call or a kid trash talking them on the court. And I always found that was a way that I try to use my timeout strategically, especially at the high school level, because a lot of it is very emotional. And I find that if I can just immediately try to get them to think about something else, it helps in the long run. And of course, you're gonna have to blow a timeout because the other team goes on a 8-0 run or something like that. But yeah, and trust me, I've called a lot of those timeouts. Being a small 3A school and playing against all these large schools and coming from the res, like, yeah, those are the days. Like, my coaching record is not great, but I would say that the relationships and the difference that I was able to make out in the community was obviously greater than those wins and losses, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a 100 percentage.
Yeah. You're getting me fired up here, Name. I'm ready to get back into it.
Yeah. Coming out of retirement. Hire him. It's not basketball season yet. Somebody hire him.
Not yet. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, one thing we forgot to talk about with the Olympics was the 3x3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
women's 3x3. Were you able to catch any games there?
I did. Yeah, and 3x3 is such a fast sport, and if one shot doesn't go, like you're seeing 4 point differences quite often. Where if you miss a 2 pointer, and the other team grabs a board, and the other team hits a 2 pointer, like that's a huge difference. And like watching the Canadian women, that's what happened in, I think it was their semifinal game,
Hmm.
just before they had to play inside the gold medal match. And yeah, it was just a lot of back and forth, and our Canadian women were so close. Like Paige played phenomenal. The Plouffe
Yeah,
sisters played awesome. Bosch had a crazy game and the group play. Yeah, but they just fell short, and bounces didn't go their way. And I hate using that excuse, that it's just like the luck of the draw, because it's not. But ultimately, a shot didn't go in, and a shot went in for the other team.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's basketball. That's basketball.
Yep.
That's how it goes. Yeah, I was. Yeah, they played so good. I watched
Mm-hmm.
almost all their games, and just yeah, really, really. Yeah, I just said it was sad to see them not get a medal, and like where obviously Paige is a guest on our podcast, and she's just like an
Mm-hmm.
awesome person. So we're really proud to see her play on TV and at the Olympics and stuff. That's huge. But
Yeah.
yeah, games, any of the games they lost could have gone either way.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
sucks to go out, 0-2 for your final two games at the Olympics. To lose to Germany by just looking up. Yeah, they lost to Germany 16-15 despite an early lead. And I thought they had watching, I knew I jinxed it, but I was like, okay, they got in the bag. I didn't say it out loud, but I said that during the game. And they ended up losing. But yeah, crazy. And then they ended up losing to the US in the medal game, in the third place game.
Yeah. 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 It was a tough one too. And yeah, for all you casuals out there, I think you can just jump on a 3x3 court. I'm just kidding. It's so like crazy, like the comments people are making. It was like they're like after they watched 3x3 and like they're just yeah. It was
they
people who don't know the rules.
Well, they just assume that any NBA player can jump on the floor and immediately dominate.
Hmm.
This is a great segue to a big 6'11" guy that recently joined the 3x3 pro circuit, DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be interested to see Boogie
So
Cousins on the 3x3 court.
so I watched a little bit of his debut, and obviously he's not retired, but he's not signed to an NBA team. He's been playing overseas for the last couple of years, but he decided to join 3x3. Obviously, I think it's Wuji, I think is the team that he's playing with. But anyways, he jumped on the first game. He dominated, and I know that sounds counterintuitive to what we were just saying about NBA players coming in and dominating, but he quite literally dominated. Him being a big force, but he he did struggle with defending and just the pace of the game. I felt like, obviously, being such a big man, he couldn't defend a three, and they ended up losing in the semifinals to Serbia, a Serbian pro team. And so he's like, NBA players would obviously be a phenomenal addition to 3x3, but it's not going to be easy. Um, Now, with that said, DeMarcus Cousins ended up scoring like 46 points in his 4 games that he played. That's like he scored 50% of his team's points every single game.
Oh
Like
wow.
that's
Who's he playing with? Like any
um
recognizable names?
none that I knew. I think he was.
And he's got to be like probably one of the bigger players in 3x3.
Oh yeah, Yeah, for sure. But he's not. There are still some guys his size. They're just not as girthy as Demarcus out there.
Oh yeah,
Not as yeah. No real players that stand out. And there's a few Div 1 players that they're on his team, and then obviously some other Asian guys that represent the Chinese demo for that team.
gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Tenny's here.
Oh, okay. Name you. You want to introduce our wonderful guest coming up here?
Yeah, I would love to. All right, we just have our guest joining us here. We have Tennyson McCarthy, also known as Tenny McCarthy. Tenny is Métis, whose family comes from the Red River Nation. And she's a 6'2" forward in her second year with the Heat women's basketball team at UBC Okanagan in Kelowna. Last year, Tenny and the Heat went to the Canada West basketball tournament and made it to the second round for the first time in program history as well. She's a 2023 graduate of the Kelowna Secondary School, where she was a multi-sport athlete who excelled in basketball and volleyball. In 2023, Tenny played for Team BC at the North American Indigenous Games and finished in 4th place. Welcome, Tenny. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome. And yeah, I just want to introduce you to my friend Mike here. It's the big dog of the pod. We're we're happy you can join us here today.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Mike, just to give you a little background, yeah, Tenny works at, or sorry, plays at UBCO where I work, and yeah, got to watch her play a lot of basketball this year, and yeah, you're really good, Tenny. I
Thanks.
love watching the team. The team is the team. It's like the team. You're you're good, but you're also really fun to watch. Like just so many good athletes.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of fun on our team for sure.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, we can get the interview started. And Mike, you have anything you wanted to add here before we get going?
No, thank you, Tenny, for joining us. We were just talking a little bit about the upcoming NBA season, we just finished talking about the Olympics and then 3x3, and it's awesome to have somebody like yourself coming in to chat a little bit about the university level
hmm
of sports in Canada. So yeah, thank you for coming on.
hmm
All right. So you come from a super athletic family. Like everyone plays sports. Like your sister played basketball for 5 years at McCune University at the U Sports level. Your brother Roan is currently playing U Sports volleyball at UFE, right? Got that right?
hmm
Okay,
Yep.
cool. And your brother Finn is playing volleyball professionally overseas right now and played for Team Canada at the 2024 Summer Olympics. You also have an amazing support system with your parents, Laurel and Cal, who are super cool, by the way. I love hanging out with them. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got started playing basketball?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I come from a pretty athletic family. All my siblings play sports. So I mean, I don't want to say I was forced to play sports, but I definitely don't remember choosing what sport to play or where to go. And I think like I started playing soccer at a really young age. You know how they have that kind of like intro level. You can start playing when you're really young. So I think my first sport was soccer, and then obviously I don't play soccer anymore. I stopped that pretty early. And then I played ice hockey. I played field hockey in middle school. Obviously I played volleyball too, and then now I play basketball. So I mean, obviously, I played a lot of sports, and I just kind of grew up in a family that sports was kind of a big part of our lives. And I was always like at the rink or at the gym watching my siblings too. So I feel like that definitely was kind of the main factor, was just that my family members were all super athletic, and that was kind of just the way of life for us. We were always watching sports or playing sports.
Oh, that's awesome. Uh, name our Tenny. You might have mentioned it. You had an opportunity to play for Team BC at NAG. How was that experience for you, and what did that feel like to be able to represent the Indigenous nation of BC?
Wow, it was just like every time I reflect on that opportunity that I got to go to NAG, it's just like there's so many good memories there, and I just feel so grateful that I got to go and play with my friends and represent Team BC and yeah, just play a lot of basketball. And it was really special to be able to kind of intertwine the Indigenous cultures of BC with basketball and sports in general. I've never really had an opportunity to do that. And yeah, it was just really great. I actually brought my lanyard here to show you guys all the pins that I got to collect over the years here.
Oh,
These are what they all look like.
Whoa.
So, or not over the years, at the games. Yeah, the pin trading was a big deal. So every province has like sets of different pins that you can collect. So we as Team BC got like a couple different sets to trade with other provinces, and some provinces had some pretty special pins. So that was like a big way that we were able to connect with other athletes because that's a huge part of the games too. It's not just about sports, obviously. It's about connecting with other athletes. So that was kind of one of the main ways we did it, and it was like pretty special, obviously, to have all these pins now and have this one hangs in my room. Like I get to see it every day.
that's so
That's
cool.
cool.
What is you said you had a like pretty special pin. Like, what's your most cherished pin? I'm sure they're all great, but what's your most cherished pin?
Mm, well, our coach Mitra ordered these extra pins. So we got this one by an artist from Vancouver. So these aren't provincial pins; these were just given to us. But I would say my favorite pin, um, this one is a two-part pin. So hold on, where's the other guy? Let me just look for him. Yeah, this one like goes together. So I think this guy's playing a drum. Oh, can't really. Oh, they're so hard to put together, but I don't know if you can see that. It like goes together there, like that. Oh,
Oh, that's so cool.
I know. So that one's probably my favorite because they all go together. And then for BC, we got three little people in a canoe, and they all like stick together. But I traded them away because everyone wanted
Wow.
them. So I only have one guy left. But yeah, that was pretty cool too.
What was like? Were there any surprises, or was it what you expected? Like when it came to like competition level?
I honestly had no idea what to expect because I never played Jant or anything because I was always away for the spring break. So I'd never played um, basketball at that type of level, and wasn't really sure what to expect because I've only ever played like club and high school. So it was obviously very physical, as you guys probably know. So that was kind of the first game was definitely a big wake up call for how I'm gonna have to play too. But yeah, the level of play was so high, and I was just really grateful to play with some really good teammates. And um, I tried out for the team with one of my two really close friends, Presley and Kanani. I don't know if you guys know them. But
Yeah.
then when the team came out and we made the team, they couldn't play anymore because they had conflicts. So it was just me, and I was really nervous about playing and playing on a team with people who I didn't know anyone on the team before I went. So I wanted to quit too, but my dad was like, "You're not quitting, like you have to go." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll go." Um, and we had like a warm up tournament kind of thing in Vancouver, and I was just like so relieved that I liked all my teammates and that they were all really fun to play with and they were all really good. So that was definitely a big relief.
Awesome. Yeah, you mentioned you played at KSS. If you didn't know, Mike is a big legend at your home tourney.
Oh,
He
is he?
yeah, he played for Jasper Place in Edmonton, and he locked down Emerson Murray
Oh,
at that tournament.
I see
Yeah,
at
Emerson
Westerns.
Murray. Yeah, yeah. Emerson went on to play NCAA Division One basketball, and Mike locked him down there.
Nice. Legend.
Yeah, right.
All right. So you mentioned you went to KSS, as we were saying. When you finished high school, what was the recruiting process like? Like, what was that experience like, and how did you choose EBCO?
Yeah. So, um, in high school, obviously, I went to a pretty big high school, KSS. We play in the Quad A division, which is we play with all of the bigger schools. So because of that, we got invited to a couple bigger tournaments at the beginning of the year. The Howard Sumera Invitational is a big tournament. It's basically just like a provincials, but smaller, but we play at the Langley Event Center, which is where provincials is held. So there's a lot of college coaches there, like scouting. So that was kind of a spot that I got a lot. Like people saw me a lot there, and then um, as far as playing at UBCO, I played junior heat club basketball for basically since I was in grade 5. So I've known Bobby, the head coach at UBCO, for a long time. Um, and then I switched over to a different club for a few years, and then that didn't really work out. So I came back to junior heat. Um, and then Bobby was kind of like, you're always welcome at UBCO. We'd love to have you out. But I kind of got the vibe he didn't want to like pressure me because he wasn't sure if I wanted to move away or stay at home. So that was nice to know that I was always welcome at UBCO. And then for club, we got to go to a tournament out east in Montreal, and I got scouted by another team that I went on a visit for called Toronto Metropolitan University, which used to be called Ryerson, but they changed the name. So that was another school that was kind of top on my list to go. So I got to go on a visit out there to Toronto. I'd never been there before. So I got to see the campus and meet the team and everything. So that was really nice. And then, yeah, basically I came home and I was like, I don't know what to do to my parents. Like I asked them for help and they were like, we can't help you. Like you really got to make the decision yourself and do whatever's best for you. So I'm grateful to them for that. But it was definitely really stressful trying to choose a school and decide what I wanted to do.
That's interesting. Your family didn't have any loyalties to UFV at all? They weren't trying to convince you to go there?
No, both my brothers went. So Rowan, he goes to UFV now, but he used to go to UBC and transferred. And then my other brother Finn went to UBC as well. So if anything, the pull would have been to go to UBC Van, but now they're like my arch nemesis, so I would never go there.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like, I'm sure your parents are like, your parents are so great. They would have supported anything you made, but I'm sure like just coming from the perspective of a dad, they were probably so happy you stayed home and they get to watch you play, and you're not going out the door right after grade 12, which is pretty great for parents. And so yeah, it's pretty cool that they always there to support you no matter what.
My mom just the other day, she was like, would you ever like want to move out? And I was like, I don't know, like what does that mean? Are you wanting me to move out? She's like, no, like I just feel like I'd be lonely here if you left. She said that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, don't worry, like I don't want to live in a dorm. I'd rather live in my house here. So I think I'll stay here for a little longer.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you get to save money.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Huge part. Yeah. I don't have to pay rent.
Yeah. And where you live is like, that's a great commute to the school. It's not far at all. So
no, it's like less than 15 minutes in Lake Country. I live right on like the Glenmore side. It's perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's huge. And not only do you get to stay home, but you also get to, be at a school where obviously you have people like Name who do a lot of Indigenous initiatives, but also you guys just recently competed in a tournament. Can you tell us a little bit about that tournament, what it was?
Yeah, so we got to go up to the Nisga'a Nation and play in the Clash of Clans tournament. So I think that was 2 weeks ago we left to go up there, and we got to go. It was us, University of Regina, Mount Royal, and Grant MacEwan. So we all got to go up there and we played kind of a little tournament with each other, and the Nisga'a Nation was just so welcoming and like had thought of everything. We got so much food and we got to eat some moose and some crab mac and cheese one day, and we got to visit with the school, which was a huge thing. We got to go visit an elementary school in one of the villages that we were playing with and meet the kids and kind of see how their school is, because their curriculum there is different from the high schools in the interior of BC because they're self-governed. So I got to kind of see what they learn about, and it was really interesting. They learn about their own history and stuff. So that was really interesting to see. And then we got to just meet some of the kids and encourage them to come out to our game, and then we played a little game with them, and yeah, it was just so amazing.
Yeah, it was that was a super special weekend, and I was very fortunate that I got to tag along and be a part of that, and just get to see that and experience that with the team, and get to know all the players and the coaches a little bit better. Like, yeah, it was just an amazing time. And as far as like basketball went, like, how did how do you feel like the team did there? What were what were some memories on the basketball court for you?
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to go 3-0, but I mean, we won 2 games and then had a really close game with Regina, who's a really good team. And that game was like, man, that was a nail biter for me, and I was playing on the court. So I was like, that was really good to have that like competitive of a game, and of the whole weekend. It was super competitive for our first games of the season. I mean, we have such a new team. I think we have 7 new players on the team. So for us to have that for a first weekend was pretty awesome. And um, yeah, I got to play with a bunch of girls that I hadn't played in a game with yet. So yeah, I mean, it's just so many great things happen on the basketball side there.
Yeah, the team played so well. Like, I think you've been practicing for less than a month, not quite a month, but the team was looking really good. Like the way you're running your offense, playing defense, like your the team's press is I wouldn't want to run into. You have a lot of height. Like, I remember being at the elementary school with the team and standing in the hallway, and I was eye to eye with so many players. I was like, oh, this is a big basketball team.
Yeah.
So it was, it's so good to watch you play and just really watch the team come together the way you all did. And I was really hoping you would pull that game off against Regina. It would have been
You
a
know.
huge win. But I think it was a win either way, because you were down by 10 and you came back in that game, and you fought right till the end. I think when you're playing in games like that, you learn so much, as whether you win or lose. It's like so valuable, and it's so early in the season you have so much more room to grow coming out of that game.
Our press, we were talking about the press and how we ourselves in practice like get stuck in our own press. So we kind of joke about how if we can't even get out of our own press and we all know it, like that's how we know that it's going to work well. So yeah, it's definitely frustrating when we're playing against each other in practice and we're running the press, because I know it's just so hard to get out of.
Yeah, and I think yeah, Bobby and the coaches, the coaching staff, like, recruited very well for your style of play, and especially with that press, like having the guards you have, and then like the bigs who are also like very mobile and like can get anywhere on the court really quickly, like are perfect for that press, also for your offense. So yeah, everyone's just so good. Like, I just super impressed watching the team play.
Mhm. Yeah, I was definitely, satisfied after our first weekend. Not satisfied, but just I was just happy that that's how we played for sure.
Yeah. So what was your favorite memory of the weekend? Like, we got all these like additional experiences apart from basketball. What was the coolest thing that you got to see while we were there?
I think it was really cool, when we were coming back from our last game, we got to stop at a little lake. I think it was called, like, Lava Lake or something, and a couple of my teammates got to go in and go swimming, and I don't I don't remember if Bobby I think Bobby went in too. So that was really fun. I would have gone in, but I didn't bring any like, I didn't have extra clothes or anything, but that was really cool because the sun was kind of just setting, or it was kind of just at its lowest time, and it was just, like, really cool to watch the sun go down and see them swimming in the lake, doing a little ice bath, cold plunge after the game.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
I was not going in. It was,
Yeah.
those kinds of things too cold for me. Too cold for me.
Yeah.
But it was such a good weekend. I've been thinking about that a lot since we got back. Yeah, Tenny, I just want to like compliment you on your game. Like, yeah, you're such a great basketball player. Like, really, like, you have a great jump shot. You have a really great footwork.
Thank you.
You play great defense. Like everybody on the team like boxes out very well, crashes the boards on offense. Yeah, so I really enjoy watching you play. I'm going to come out to as many games as I can this year and bring my kids so they get to watch you all play.
Good. I look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to them. Yeah, so we're just coming near the end of the interview here. We're just wondering, what advice would you have for any Indigenous youth who have aspirations to play at the college or university level?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot, but one thing that I would say is you just kind of got to trust the process. If you want to play post-secondary basketball, whatever level, whether that be from college to D1, I feel like you really have to just kind of put your head down and really trust the process. And for me, that was kind of recognizing and coming to peace with the fact that I'm gonna miss some things. As a high school student, I missed some stuff. I missed going to hang out with my friends sometimes on the weekend, but for me, it was really finding friends on the team, and my best friends are my teammates, and that was really valuable because I didn't feel like I was missing a lot of stuff. But it's gonna happen. There's gonna be times where you just want to quit, or you had a bad game and you just want to stop playing, or whatever the case may be, but I feel like you just got to keep going, and it's not going to be easy, but if that's something you want to do, I feel like it's achievable, and there's a lot of paths that kids can take, and yeah, I feel like you just got to put your head down and work.
That's great advice. Thank you for that. So what's next? I mean, I know you're only year 2 of university. Any aspirations to play pro when you're done, or what's
Yeah,
next for you?
that would be kind of the dream. I feel like I gotta my brother went pro after his first year of volleyball, so I mean,
Oh,
I
wow.
kind of yeah. So I feel like I gotta kind of try and see if I can get to that pro level too. But I mean, I also one of my goals for the future is to be a lawyer, and UVic has a dual Juris Doctor program where you can get specialize in Indigenous law. So that's something that I'm really looking and hoping that I can get into after I finish my undergrad. So yeah.
All right. Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Tenny, for giving us your time. It's very it was very important for us to have you here. We're very honored that you could join us on our podcast and share your experiences and everything that basketball has brought to you. Mike and I are both basketball players. We still love basketball, and basketball has opened up a lot of doors for us, and I'm sure it has for you. And I think it's important that we share your story and the successes, celebrate your successes that you've had so far in your young basketball career.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. It was great to talk with you guys.